Hello everyone, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to click on this video. And in this video, something that we have already done last season and I'd like to do again this season. However, it's a bit different. So I did a trade and keep video at the start of this season with an eye on the future on this season and next. This one will be slightly different in that it mostly has bearings on this season, whereas for some players I will also look towards the future in deciding whether we should either keep him, trade him, or whether I'm indifferent. And if it's indifferent, it means that we should not, or we don't have to actively look to trade the player away. But if there's a good offer on the table, probably accept it. But again, if the player does not get traded, if there's no offer, I don't mind the player staying and playing either. We're going to look at mostly NHL players, but also at some prospects and players that are in between the NHL and the Marlies. So we won't look at all the Marlies, we'll just look at a few of them. And we'll start with the goalies. So without any further ado, Freddie Anderson. Freddie Anderson, straightforward, trade him, 5 million cap hit. He's going to be a free agent. He does not inspire confidence in the players, certainly not in the fans. His save percentage is below 900. The errors are more regular and they cost the Leafs more and more and more. And with a 5 million cap hit, there's just so much more you can do. Jack Campbell, is he a starter? He can prove it. It's time for Jack Campbell to prove that he is a starter. If he isn't, you can try and find someone with the cap hit that Freddie Anderson provides. Freddie Anderson is a trade. Next, Michael Hutchinson. He's the third goalie, might actually be the fourth with Vivulainen coming through. I hope I pronounced that correctly. With a 725 cap hit, a guy that won't get claimed, he can go down to the AHL or taxi squad. He's one that I would keep. Jack Campbell, straightforward, I would keep him. Then we go to the defensemen, and then obviously we have Ian Scott and Michael Wall and Joseph Wall, and there's no debate there either. We keep him. In the defense, Zach Bogosian, he was brought in to be the sixth defenseman, or the fifth, arguably, to be a big guy with experience of winning the cup. 1 million cap hit, even though he's going to be a free agent after this season, I would keep him. He's been a very serviceable player and one that the Leafs would be worse off if they traded him away. Travis Dermott, I said when it was between Travis Dermott and Mikko Lehtonen, I was on the side of Mikko Lehtonen should be kept, and the one that should be traded away should be Travis Dermott. Now Mikko Lehtonen has been traded away. You keep Dermott, obviously. Hall, Muzzin, Brody, Morgan Riley, all keep them. You keep them all. Now I know Morgan Riley maybe hasn't had the best season, and many Leafs fans have been on his back. I understand that some games he hasn't been great, but you can't trade Morgan Riley away. Who would you get in return? And how do you improve the defense if you trade Morgan Riley away, especially at this stage of the season? I don't know. Justin Hall was one I remember in the beginning of the season. I said, trade him away. I've completely changed my stance on it. He has surprised everyone. He's been a great defenseman. He's been very solid, very reliable. 2 million cap hit. He's really coming into his own at 29 years of age. And can't complain about him. No, he isn't the greatest defenseman in the world or on the Leafs. But wow, Justin Hall, keep him. We go to the forwards. Jason Spezza, keep. Some of them are very, very obvious, very simple. Spezza, keep. Kerfoot, I'm undecided. So the thing with Kerfoot, 26 years of age, 3.5 million cap hit for a third line guy, arguably fourth, depending on how the team plays. It's not good enough. Now, the reason I would be undecided is if you can trade him away this season and get a better return, perhaps also a player who has a better cap hit, so less than 3.5 million. Yes, you could definitely trade him away. However, I think he might get claimed by the Seattle Kraken, or there might be a deal in place between the Leafs and the Kraken that he's the one that gets picked. And in that case, I would not be shocked. I would not be disappointed or angry either. So I think Alex Kerfoot's undecided. If you can trade him away, fine. If you keep him, that's fine too. Alex Galchenyuk. Now, Alex Galchenyuk, he had 2 points the other night against the Oilers in a 4-3 overtime win. So that brings his total for the season up to 3 assists in 4 games. It's not bad. I mean, Alex Galchenyuk really was a guy that people were iffy about, to say the least, and completely understandable. He's failed at 5 clubs, 6 clubs now that have given him a chance and haven't been able to get much out of him. However, he's coming to the Leafs. He played well with the Marlies, and now he is on the Leafs, and he definitely tries a lot, and he is the one that, given the chance to prove himself, if he plays with confidence, can definitely be someone that brings something to the team. And he's made a much better impression than Jimmy Vesey in only 4 games than Jimmy Vesey did in 30. So Jimmy Vesey compared to Alex Galchenyuk, yes, it's good that we traded Vesey and we got Galchenyuk, or not traded, but Jimmy Vesey was claimed. We got Galchenyuk. I would keep him. Next, Zach Hyman, keep 2.25 cap. The guy has 21 points in what, 34 games, is it? I think he is on the first line, then he's on the second, then he's on the third, sometimes even on the fourth. He does a bit of everything. He's gritty, he gets points, he's on the power play, he can kill penalties. Defensively, he helps out if you need him to. He's got speed, he's got some skills. For 2.25, not only should he be re-signed by the Leafs, not only should he not be traded, he should be re-signed by the Leafs, because he's going to be a free agent this season and he has to be re-signed. Hopefully he doesn't get somehow signed by another team or claimed by the Kraken, which would be absolutely terrible. Pierre Engvall, I'm undecided. Pierre Engvall, again, is the one, if you can keep him, I'm not mad, because he can go to the Marlies, he can play on the Leafs in certain capacity. Obviously, he's never going to be a top 6 guy, and he doesn't get that many points, but he's a player that can help out if needed, a player that does his job or tries to do his job, not always to the greatest of his abilities, but he always tries. He's been good on the zip line, so Zach, Ilya, and Pierre, so Engvall, Mikheyev, and Hyman. He's been very good on that line. And to play again, I'm undecided. So trade him, I'm not mad. Keep him, that's perfectly fine by me too. Ilya Mikheyev, what a player. There was talks about him going to arbitration this offseason, but they got it settled. 1.64 cap hit, and the guy is just, he doesn't get many goals, but he's in a great position. He's speedy, he kills penalties like no other player. He is very, very serviceable. I like him more and more by each game that I watch, and it's a compliment, and it only speaks volumes of him as a player and as a Leaf, and I think it would be a terrible decision should he get claimed, should he get traded. I would keep Ilya Mikheyev. Nylander, now lots of people have gone on Nylander's back, but he plays less than 17 minutes a game. He gets points. He can play on the first, on the second. He is a very serviceable player. Yes, his cap hit of 6.9 million is not great, but it's not terrible either. There's players with worse cap hits. There's many players with worse cap hits. And I would keep Nylander. He's only 24 still. He can shoot, he can pass. Yes, sometimes he leaves a bit to be desired and he doesn't play at 100% on the ice. But again, I'm pro Nylander. I like him a lot. And you might disagree with me. If so, let me know in the comments down below. John Tavares, for this season, now John Tavares is an interesting one. For the rest of the season, keep him. In the off-season, all bets are off. But we'll go into that in another video. Not because he doesn't get points or anything, but we'll go into that in another video. And it's mostly to do with the cap hit. Wayne Simmonds, the team looked lost without Wayne Simmonds a lot. They need a guy like him that is going to use his physique to punch, to get pucks out of the corner, to hit. Wayne Simmonds has been a revelation again for the Leafs. Many people thought he was washed. He wasn't the player he used to be, and he's not. But he's still a great player that the Leafs have needed and really needed last season, and this season he's been put to great use. And again, as you will have seen in this video, I'm not looking at points too much, although with some I do, obviously, or at stats. But Wayne Simmonds, the eye test is also important. Wayne Simmonds, we keep. Marner, Matthews, keep. Thornton, he's a UFA at the end of the season. The thing with Thornton is I would keep him. But, and here's a very important but, don't play him on the first line or in the top six. Don't. It's, yeah. Keep him, but don't play him on the top six. That's it, really. Scott Sabourin, 28 years. He's mostly on the AHL. I'd like to see him play for the Leafs. Keep him. Nick Robertson, there's talks about him being involved in trades for goalies or players. No. Keep Nick Robertson at all costs. Mack Hollowell is an interesting one. I'm undecided because Mack Hollowell was one that I've always had a lot of hope for. But if he can get traded for as an extra piece in a trade for a goalie, or with Freddie Anderson, or with someone else, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So Mack Hollowell, I'm undecided. Timothy Liljegren, I've never been able to pronounce that name. Liljegren. Timothy, I would keep him for now, unless he could be involved in a great trade. And there's only two great trades for me, and I'm not saying they will happen. They're very unlikely to happen. Either if he's involved in a trade for Gibson or for Kemper. That's it. And I'm not saying those trades will happen. It would surprise me if those trades happened. But otherwise, I would keep him. Alex Barabov. He's played on the Marlies lately, and I liked him a lot on the Leafs. He hasn't gotten any points yet, but the more he got to play, the more he showed, the grittier he was, the better positions he was in. And does he actually have points? I don't think he does. Does he? Let's take a look. Alex Barabanov, no points. But again, he's a player that I like. Lots of people are starting to like him more and more, the more they see of him. He should get a better opportunity, in my opinion. Barabanov keep. Nick Petan, I'm undecided. Yes, on the one hand, he should get a better opportunity, but he's 26. He doesn't play for the Leafs at all. It seems like Sheldon Keefe does not really trust him on the Leafs. If you can trade him for a draft pick, or if you can add him with other players as a sweetener, yeah. So Petan, trade, sure, why not? Kenny Agostino, same as Nick Petan. Although for the Marlies, he's great. For the Leafs, I'm only looking at the Leafs here, not at the Marlies. Trade, why not? But again, those guys between the NHL and the AHL, you could put them in an undecided. Joey Anderson, keep. 22 years old. He still has some development to do. He's been good on the Leafs. He's been okay on the Marlies. He doesn't play a whole lot for the Leafs. Obviously, he's only ever had one game, and I think he got 1 point in that game. No, actually not. That was Brooks. Sorry. But Joey Anderson, 22, he can still develop, and I'd like to see more of him. Semyon, there are good. Semyon. Those Russian names. There are good Chintsev. There it is. Sorry, keep him. He's only 20. Adam Brooks, keep him. 24. Martin Marincin, trade him away. I don't want to risk him. Karl Robertson, he's not going to play on the Leafs, is he? Rasmus Sandin, keep him. And that's it. I mean, there's loans players like Mikhail Abramov, Philip Hallander, Dennis Morgan, all of them undecided. You know, well, keep them all except Malgin undecided. If you trade Malgin, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. And then you have the prospects in Roni Hevonen, Rodion Amerov. Who else? Yeah, Topi Niemela. You keep all of those. William Villeneuve, keep him. Mikko Kokkonen, keep him. Yeah, I think you have to keep those. Don't use them in a trade. So that's it for this video. Yeah, what did you think of my trade or keep? Do you agree with some players? Do you disagree? Who would you try and trade away? Who would you trade for? And who do you think Seattle picks in this upcoming expansion draft? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to click on this video, and I'll talk to you soon.